Well, guys, safe to say everybody got a bit of a haircut this week. But not all bad. We're still in the green. We still have some good things going on. But not the week, at least I was hoping for after some of the stuff that we were talking about last week.
Definitely not.
Definitely not, he says, as he sits in last place.
Yeah.
Not by a lot, though. Not by a lot. Just a couple
Not by a
percentage
ton,
points.
but yeah, like, despite how good some things started performing,
Yeah.
many other things decided they wanted to jump off the cliff.
Yeah, it was not the rising tide raises all boats type of a week.
Yeah.
My shares in LVMH, the luxury conglomerate, absolutely fell through the floor
Mm-hmm.
for some reason,
Uh,
which is unfortunate. But
luxury goods. Did something happen recently to cause
I
that
don't
to slow
know. I honestly should have been paying more attention. I still like. I'm not gonna panic. But that was a bummer. And then every time I think I've found the floor with Canadian Solar, something else will go wrong. So that is down. Get this, another 19.7% for the month.
Wow. Oh. Ouch.
I am now down all time over 42.5%.
Ouch. Okay, well, I haven't had anything plummet that hard, but yeah. Ouch. It's pretty big.
I guess what happened for you then?
Let's see. So Callaway died. Callaway went
Died.
down.
They just announced a new $400 hybrid on Monday.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't think it's selling that well. But it's down 10.3%.
Yikes.
Delta's not super bad.
What?
-4.
How did country clubs and stuff fare during like last COVID? And then like as restrictions got so they were obviously shut down when everything was shut down.
Mm-hmm.
As rollouts happened, what phase did they fall in? And like, was it success? Because like if I think about it, like it's not that you have a lot of close quarters contact.
No.
Outside of the group you play in, right? So
the way
like,
it worked in Washington, at least, as soon as they started to ease up like outdoor activity,
yeah, they opened it back up, and to
you
me,
could go play.
And to me, your revenue stream isn't impacted that hard because you could play pretty much almost the same number. Like socially distancing for restaurants, limited capacity, right? And
Well, so
we saw places blatantly ignoring that. I'll just say
remember
that
like Callaway has multiple revenue streams, right? They don't
Yeah,
actually own any courses, so it's
Well, yeah,
all,
so
it's
no,
hard
I'm just thinking-
goods, it's
I'm just
Top
thinking-
Golf.
I'm just thinking in like golf in general. Like,
Yeah.
well, he said Callaway's not doing good, so I was like, is golf in general not doing good as a reaction to COVID? Like,
So I
statements?
think-
but it seems doubtful to me because I feel like golf would be, as a sport, fairly actually resilient too.
Well, no, it was. And so
Yeah.
the first time around, I was talking to somebody about it, and he worked in golf retail. And he was telling me that he hadn't seen sales volumes like this since, like, Tiger Woods was world beater Tiger Woods in, like, the very early 2000s.
Yeah.
So you're talking, like, a 20-year gap between the last time anybody has seen interest in golf like this. So golf as a whole did really well. The problem on the hard goods side of things is that for a while they did really well. But
So
as soon as
the
you start to have
correction?
supply chain issues and things get back ordered, much like we've been talking about with chips and cars and all these other things, it's really hard to fulfill orders and people look for other options. So like I bought new equipment back. I ordered new stuff in March. I got it the second week of June.
Jeez, yeah.
That is atrocious fulfillment time.
Yep.
And that is not even the worst story that I have heard among people I know who play golf.
Yeah, like
So,
I
like,
went
the
to-
interest is there, for sure.
Mhm.
And Callaway as a company has as diversified a stream of revenues as any company in golf. I think you're starting to hit some headwinds with supply chain stuff.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, winter in golf, like, you're going to be looking at retail holiday sales, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't have inventory to sell over the holidays, the next like big thing you're going to be able to do is new product release in the spring.
Yeah.
So, they definitely have the potential to turn it around, but I am very curious to see how any further disruptions in the supply chain particularly for things that are this expensive, cause problems because we've seen it other places.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't really care what you buy and you just want to buy something, and one is going to take 6 weeks and one is going to take 3, you buy the one that gets there in 3.
Exactly. Yeah, because I feel like it's not necessarily that. I feel like it's just been a ton of people adopting it. Because I went to like this like fitting and like lesson shop up in Bellevue, and they were like, "Yeah, man, we have like crazy long lead times, like weeks, months, even.
Yeah.
And like we haven't sold this many clubs. Like we've been sold. Like we can't sell some of them because the delay is just too long.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
And I think that's the first time you've ever really seen that happen, right? Some companies discontinued product lines early because they were so back-ordered that by the time they were going to finish catching up on back order, it was time for the next model year anyway.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. And yet here we are. So
yeah.
Yeah, if anything brings down the industry as a whole, it's going to be that.
Yeah.
But I mean, long term, you still have to like where this is going, because to Kyle's point, you have limited close quarter social interaction. You just had the Olympics, and golf was in the Olympics for only the second time. So internationally, you figure there has to be at least a little bit of a bump there, because exposure for golf on TV is always a good thing.
Right.
And then you continue to have, assuming a reasonable number of people who have picked up the game because of COVID continue playing, right? How long before they grow out of whatever equipment it is that they bought, or they get bored and they decide they want something else? Like, those are the types of customers you're going to be looking at, and can you retain them, and can you turn them into a more avid golfer? And that's where some of this additional revenue is going to come from.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's hard goods only. Obviously, Top Golf and all the other stuff, like that's, those types of places are definitely going to get hit harder if things shut down again. But Top Golf is on such a tear in terms of building stuff. I would not bet against Top Golf.
They're very big right now. They're very. I hear about them, or like celebs going to them, or people saying that they want to go.
It's expensive, but if you go in a group and you split cost, it's absolutely worth it. Like it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So we know that didn't do particularly well for you. Did anything do equally as good as Callaway did badly?
I mean, really, the only things have been Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin's up 20.88% right now, and then Ethereum's up almost 32%.
Yeah, Bitcoin got over 50,000 again.
Yeah. I think it's hovering at like 49.5 right now, but I was watching that closely because we talked about it last week, right? If it crosses 50, what happens? Can it stay there?
I think it stays there. I think that's another checkpoint, at least for the short-term future.
Yeah.
I would certainly hope so. That's good news for all of us. Yeah. I'm very curious to see where that goes. I saw something the other day. It was dated much earlier in the year, but at that point in time, the quote-unquote worst-case scenario pricing for year-end, the math that they had done, or whatever analysis it was, said that the worst-case scenario price was in excess of $100,000.
Oh my.
So if that logic holds, and obviously I'm not saying that it's going to, but if the market genuinely believes there's that much upside, in 3.5 months' time, it could be worth twice as much as it is now. Again, if the logic holds. So.
Yeah, I guess was that right after Tesla announced that they were going to be holding Bitcoin themselves, and then that huge spike happened at the start of the year?
I don't remember. It was very early on in the year. I don't remember the specific date, though. But yeah, I mean, I think whether it gets there or not, there's been a seismic shift in businesses' willingness to at least explore how can we use this. And so whether it hits the price or not this year, I think you have to like the long-term prospects of at least it becoming a more integrated part of a lot of things, which obviously bodes well. But I guess we'll see. Kyle, what about you? Did you have anything go catastrophically wrong this week?
I think TSMC isn't doing too hard right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're down like 8% on the month.
That's too bad.
It's the worst performer. Shopify regressed a little bit. Boeing regressed a little bit, but yeah, it's mostly just I didn't sell any of the Bitcoin, so that's propping me up right now. And I think Ripple is also having like a small resurgence right now too.
Ooh,
So,
there we go.
I guess those are offsetting the slight losses through the week in those other couple companies. Everything else is pretty close to zero, plus or minus. Oh, Microsoft is doing well this month, so plus 7%.
It is.
But yes.
Seems like they always do fairly well, though. We talked about them last week.
Yeah, well, it's a blue chip, right? Like you said, you kind of
So blue
expect.
chips do.
Yeah.
You expect the news to be boring most of the time, but in a good way.
Yes. Though speaking of blue chips and news that is in no way, shape, or form boring, our first real newsworthy topic of the night. The rumor mill says that Amazon is looking at expanding its physical store presence with a chain of department stores.
Department stores.
According to people familiar with the matter.
So what are they?
They're looking at one in Ohio and one in California. Expected to be about 30,000 square feet apiece. So less than a third of the size of a traditional department store, but still a department store. They will sell clothing, household items, electronics, and other merchandise. So, Amazon makes all of its money absolutely obliterating traditional retail. And now it thinks it has figured out a way to get back into traditional retail and absolutely murder everybody again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is just the reverse Sears. Like, what Sears should have done was Sears was like, we have department stores, a catalog, loyal customers, a credit card even.
Isn't that ridiculous?
All we have to
printed
do
product catalogs now.
Yeah, like I mean, but like if you think about it, if Sears had just made a website like prior to Amazon, like they would have been Amazon. Like they had a credit card, people trusted them. You would have bought stuff online from Sears, like because you already shop at Sears. You don't like online shopping was kind of scary for a while, but you would trust Sears.com.
Well, and I think too that part of it. I obviously am speculating because Amazon has not issued any public comment other than to effectively say, we don't comment on rumors. My assumption would be that because they have invested so much in fulfillment and supply chain, that the thought is these department stores can help take the place of like the one-day shipping type of products, like same-day delivery type of things.
Or well, you probably... You still have one day shipping. It probably comes from the department store, right? Instead of it coming from an Amazon warehouse, you have Amazon department stores that essentially function as warehouses.
That's intriguing because I feel like a lot of people would still want things delivered to their front porch.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't
as an
think
option,
you would.
Though, if you're already going out, I could see the appeal. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think you would replace warehouses with department stores. I think you would combine them essentially. Like you would make a warehouse a department store, so that like the one day shipping is an option because the warehouse is there to ship it to everyone within a 1 day radius. But for the person who lives up the street and is conscientious of their global carbon footprint and doesn't want to participate in 1 day shipping, they can go into the warehouse and buy it from you directly. Like essentially you're putting a checkout line in the front of the warehouse.
True. True. The other thing that I hadn't thought about, and the more that I read through the article earlier this week, was that now they have a place where you can return stuff instead of
physically.
Yeah, instead of having to find a drop box or ship it back with prepaid labels. Like,
to be honest,
there's potentially a substantial cost savings there if even a couple percentage points of people don't have to use an Amazon prepaid postage thing to send something back.
Yeah, that's true. They don't have to pay for all the mail.
Yeah.
Because right now, yeah, because like right now, returning on stuff on Amazon, I don't know, I'm gonna be honest, pretty easy as a customer. Like I don't really
It
have a
is.
problem with doing it. Like you print it out, you slap it in the box, and go to a Kohl's or you go to the mailbox and just drop it off, and it's fine.
Yeah, but if they don't have to pay for it anymore, and you're
Yeah.
willing to go to the Amazon department store, then
Yeah,
so
I guess you might get better customer service. Although usually Amazon returns, it's very customer sided. I feel like they just give you your money back, and they're like, yeah, we'll
Yeah, I
figure
think
it
so.
out. Yeah.
well, so and that actually raises an important question: where are they going to get the people to work these department stores? Like, regardless of your opinion about Amazon as a company, we've all heard people who've worked in Amazon warehouses, and difficult is usually an understatement. And you're dealing with the tightest labor market in modern history. I understand that it's only 2 stores, and so for pilot purposes, it's relatively minimal commitment.
Well, I mean, like,
But like the scalability of that to me seems like if anyone can do it, it's them.
well, so like
But
in
I
my
do have a
mind,
serious question about whether or not they're able to staff enough of the right kinds of people to make this cog in the great machine work the way they want it to.
see, in my mind, since if you convert a warehouse into a department store, you already have people who handle all the stock, basically stocking shelves and stuff at night and whatever, or early morning. You already have the labor to do that, trained to do that, essentially.
Yeah.
So really, what you're like, okay, I need people for customer service and checking people out. And doesn't Amazon already do like that thing where they have like a bunch of stores that are like, like you just throw stuff in your cart and you go to the checkout and it scans you out like that way or whatever. Like you don't even have to like
the
have
Amazon Fresh or the Amazon
Yeah.
Pro or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
They do.
use like a combination of that. Theoretically, you might only need to hire like 10 people per store. Like,
That's an interesting point. I'd honestly forgotten about the robot stores.
it depends. It depends on how extensive this department store is, though. Too. Like obviously, the robot solution doesn't work. Maybe if your cart is full of big or like maybe like a lot of really small items messes up. Maybe weirdly shaped big items can trip it up. I'm not sure how effective it is, but I can see a situation where they make it so that most of the buying process is automated. Just like yeah, I don't know. Like you have either you somehow sign in with your Amazon account when you go to the store essentially, and it just tracks what you buy or what you pick up off the shelves that you buy or whatever. It's like, okay, you took that, so you bought that or whatever.
I mean, I suppose given all the other things they've accomplished, it's not that far fetched.
Yeah, but to be fair, I don't know. Like, if you're building a whole new building, though, like you have existing warehouses, and you're like, I just want to make a department store. Like, then you're right. Then you have to. Then you have
they're probably just gonna fill like one of the bazillion square feet of vacant storefront that's literally everywhere.
Yeah. Maybe they automate it. I mean, like their warehouses run on a lot of robots to move things to the right places. Maybe a lot of the store stuff is handled by automation too, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it becomes.
It has to be to some point, right?
Right, like maybe like you always see like the Walmart style company that's taken over the world in the future in like the the futuristic movies where that happens. Like maybe this is them. They're going to become big corp.
Nice.
Like that's usually the name. It's something very vague and just large company. Yeah.
I just remember the one from WALL-E. That's the only one I remember.
Yeah, then like it's exactly.
Which was
like
an
that,
objectively
right?
terrible movie. The messaging and like the moral of the story was good, but like I'm sorry, that movie was awful.
You didn't like it. You don't like Eve.
Like I have a hard time when there's like 10 words in the whole 90-minute long feature film.
That's Leonardo DiCaprio won like a whole Oscar for that.
What? He's in that movie?
No. The movie he did win, The Revenant.
Okay,
like, doesn't he like not talk for like most of the movie? Like, it's just him alone in the wilderness or whatever. That's how I'm telling Jordan. You don't need words to have a.
Nice.
It would be funny if Leonardo
Soundbite
DiCaprio
of
was
the week.
only.
Leonardo DiCaprio was in that movie.
It would be good if his only Academy Award was providing like a minor voice role in a Disney movie. That would be such a shot at his career.
Oh my
Good Will Hunting, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, all of that stuff. Titanic. WALL-E.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That is the most recognized piece in your career. What was Wally's corporation called?
I don't
By
remember.
and large, the By and Large corporate. Yes,
Nice.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like
Maybe
the
that's-
point where like all the people were so fat that they like
Yeah,
rotated
like
hover
the
chairs and
company
stuff?
the
Like, they
company
made it-
invented a hover chair, and so like that's just what Amazon's gonna do next. Like
Nice.
you get the hover chair to take to the Amazon department store. You know, like fuck. That's just how it's gonna work.
Oh my goodness. Well, I would be very curious to see what kind of retail sales they're able to generate from these. I mean, I think there's little doubt if they're able to pull it off, the upside is absolutely massive.
Hmm.
I think my question is more of like the cultural shift that they have helped create when it comes to shopping. Is there enough of a desire for physical retail stuff left for them to even exploit?
Maybe they're betting no, there isn't, but they don't care because this will just kill off other physical stores faster.
Also, a very valid
And then
point.
this branch just if this branch just dies in 10 years, they don't care either. They're like, in 10 years, the goal is that zero physical retail stores exist in the world, including ours. Maybe, you know, or maybe not 10 years. That's kind of a ridiculous statement to
Yeah.
make. But, you know, like, within X years, we want physical retail to be dead. And we will just make physical retail just to suck away business from other physical retail. But then, like, once our physical retail dominates, we will just stop supporting it. And then everyone has to use Amazon.com. Maybe that's the idea. No idea.
Would be very intelligent if that was actually the strategy.
Drown out the competition.
Yeah,
So I'm sure they'll heavily feature like the Amazon Basics brands and stuff too.
Yeah,
which
it
is,
will
like,
be. It'll be all stuff. That'll be like the cheapest stuff.
going to
It'll
be their own products.
It'll be front. I mean, that's what the bookstore is right now too. If you go to the Amazon bookstores or whatever, outside of the actual books, all like the little toy stuff and electronic stuff that they show there, it's usually
All the little
basic
desk
stuff.
trinkets and shit.
Yeah. I mean,
Interesting.
just eat the loss. It'll pay off in the end when everyone
Yeah,
only has
no
one choice
kidding.
to buy from.
No
That's
kidding.
just that's the problem. You have a corporation now that's almost too quote unquote too big to fail, right? They can eat all of the losses as long as they believe that the profits at the end
Yep.
make up for it. And so far, no one's been willing to not buy enough to make that not true.
Well, you can play the 30-year long game when everybody else is focused on like the 3 to 5 year short game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're on a different playing field, playing by different rules at that point because you're able to think so far ahead and think about so many other things.
Yeah. So it's gonna take something. Yeah, it's gonna take something large to kind of disrupt Amazon's current track.
Oh, I think we all know what can disrupt Amazon. The feds.
Yeah, well, yeah, so does it become
It's
a
going to
corporate
be
war thing?
antitrust or monopoly. Like
That's the
you have
other.
to know that they're at least going to take a really hard look at it.
Yeah, that's usually the other route, in like the future movies, right? Either one corporation dominates the world, or like corporations and governments eventually had some sort of like falling out, where corporations essentially became as powerful as governments, and they decided to have like a war over it.
This week's episode is going to be entirely us generating movie plots based
Yeah,
on
no,
a
I'm serious. You could
dystopian 30-year
you
future
have
type of
you have the
thing.
UN is negotiating with Bezos the Fourth, who owns Mars or something.
Nice.
Oh my
Mars has
goodness.
been renamed to the Amazon planet or whatever. Tesla owns Venus or something. I don't. Whatever.
Jeez. Speaking of robots, though, and speaking of Tesla, Kyle, I know that you have probably seen the news about this Tesla robot.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to know, like, is this just Elon Musk getting distracted and coming up with something fun? Is this him trying to spin off another legitimate business? Like,
I want to say
what's
this
the
is
angle
like,
here?
I mean, like Tesla markets itself as a tech company, not a car company, right? They call
Correct.
themselves a tech company.
Correct.
So I could see that, this may be a serious, like branch in Tesla that's being developed.
Mm-hmm.
But this announcement did seem to be very out of left field. and like
Okay,
just like
to be fair though, I feel like 90% of their announcements are out of left field,
yeah, but
or they're
usually
out of beyond the fence in left field.
yeah, but like that's what I'm saying. Like that, like I feel like a lot of their announcements, they kind of like they announce something and it like it's cool, it's very high tech sounding, it appeals to like most common people's sense of like what like the neural link thing, the
Yeah.
idea of like a computer that hooks up to your brain, like that's
Which there
super
was also a
sci-fi.
movie about that, right? That was
Yeah,
the whole
there's-
Johnny Depp like gets downloaded into the cloud or whatever.
Yeah, so that's like super sci-fi. Like you hear that and you
Yeah.
think and you hear that someone's actually working on it, and you're like, wow, that's like the future, right?
Yeah.
But like, let's be honest, like the progress of Neuralink very far from ever being used by any person. I think they're trying it out on pigs right now? Question mark or something like that, or
I
rats or
honestly
something.
don't
I
know.
don't. Yeah, like I don't know where it's at right now, but like it's very far off. So like sometimes I feel like he's just like like I want to build hype. I know that my company works on cool things.
Yeah.
Fuck it, let's leak it. We're working on robots. Everyone thinks robots are cool. Everyone does think robots are cool and talks about Tesla robots and stuff. And which is why I was surprised. Like to me, the main reason to announce something like that when you don't have a robot really ready to show, like not even sell, like ready to show.
No.
Like the only reason to announce a robot is to build hype for it. So I was like, yeah, maybe that'll like pump my Tesla thing. But maybe everyone, like you're right. Like he makes a lot of announcements at this point. Maybe everyone's caught onto the game and just said like Tesla robots in the future. That sounds cool. When we see those, we'll get Tesla robots.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think he's coming at this from the right angle of if we can eliminate dangerous, repetitive, and boring tasks, like everybody would be absolutely fine with robots doing things that are dangerous, repetitive, and boring.
That's why, like, this is it's probably a serious, business avenue that Tesla is pursuing. Like, right? Like, there's obviously market need for it, and it's probably going to be really profitable. It's just to me, like, we already knew those things. Like, it's not like that information is new. It's not like he's sharing, like, I think robotics is the solution to menial labor that no one wants to do, and robotics has long been suggested as the solution to that task. So that's not new. You saying I'm working on it, really, like, unless you have something to show me, like, beyond you just want me to acknowledge that you're working on it.
Well, like, so I think the closest comparison that comes to mind is the folks over at Boston Dynamics, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Those robots are incredible.
Well, those robots are
Do those
special.
robots have very many commercial uses at this point? Probably not, right? If you're looking at, like, the four-legged dog, like, short of war zones and some very, very specialized tasks, you could not roll that thing out tomorrow and have it do a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah.
But the videos and their ability to show, hey, this is a thing and it works, is the sole reason that company is still in business.
Yeah,
like I have no idea how much money they have poured into these things. I would be stunned if they were very profitable at all at this point because it's so new. But they've generated such strong hype. That brand is now synonymous with
like high tech robots.
Robots are going to be this.
Yeah, like when I think of robots that act like humans, you think of Boston because of their videos, because they're specifically designed. They don't look like humans, obviously, but the way that the robots move, it's like you're like that's how a person moves, right? Like it looks like motion
organic.
Capture. Yeah, like it looks like motion capture. That's why the video is focused on them looking awkward or like doing things or falling over, because like you're like no one designs a robot to fall over and get back up, right? Like that's not like, why would you design it like that? But like there's just saying like we can.
Yeah,
and
we are smart enough that we have figured out how to do this.
And we can, like, and we're doing it. We did it, and that's it serves the same kind of purpose, like you said, as a Tesla announcement. Like really, that robot serves no profitable use that it can pick itself up when it falls over, but it's a hype video, and the difference is the video contains something they made, and they can be like, look, this is already existing, versus Tesla's is like, we're working on it. So that, for me, I don't know.
Honestly, I was digging into the Boston Dynamics stuff when I saw the story first break, and I honestly had no idea that they were actually owned by Hyundai.
Really?
So they
Wow.
spun off from MIT, which I did know,
Right.
but I honestly
did
thought
that.
that's where they still were. Apparently, from there they went over to SoftBank, and then Hyundai just bought them from SoftBank earlier this year.
Interesting.
So you can't buy it publicly traded, but like, still,
Yeah.
the amount of money you had to have put into this stuff has to be astronomically high.
Yeah, and obviously the fact that you're getting bought by other companies mean that they think that it's worth eating
It's
the
worth
loss.
something.
Yeah, to keep you around. They're like,
You
yeah,
have
okay,
to
well,
just
whatever.
stay afloat long enough to
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
Which I suppose by that logic, right? Maybe that's the Tesla angle too. They have enough different revenue streams that if they want to get serious about robotics, they could do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to take a while, and like you said, I think hey, we're
just-
working on this and we're going to leak it, but we don't really have anything to show you is kind of
Yeah, for
it's
me,
very
just-
on brand for them. They make announcements like that all the time, but it's just in very stark contrast to
Yeah, because
the way that people normally approach something as complicated as robotics.
Yeah, because you know that Boston Dynamics is going to keep working on their robot. Like
Yeah.
whatever they have, even if the video you didn't think the robot was impressive, at least you know, like, well, they make robots, right? Like with Tesla, it's like, so Tesla's got like 9, 8, or 9, 10, however many projects that they got working on, in addition to the cars that need to be self-driving, which is in itself a very large technological advancement too.
Mhm.
It's like, what percentage of R&D goes into this robot? What percentage goes into the car? What percentage goes into the battery or the solar stuff? And what percentage goes into the Neuralink stuff? I guess Neuralink is its own
Powerwall and the
company.
Boring Company
Yeah.
and Neuralink.
Yeah, like
and
the
SpaceX and all
flamethrowers
this
or
other
whatever.
shit,
Space, yeah, like how is your attention divided? Like I understand that Tesla, the conglomerate of Tesla is full of geniuses. Like I understand that,
yeah.
but there are only so many to go around. So like every time you announce a new product,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so like, did everyone else's timeline get pushed back to accommodate this, or are you somehow maintaining, separate timeline? You're just adding a new team,
Or do you
and
just
that's-
announce it
What do you-
first and then hire everybody after the fact?
Yeah, like, is it like we're working on Tesla robots, and like like they're gonna start in 3 years working on Tesla robots, but they know that they're going to, so they can announce it
Yeah.
right now. Like, is that how it works too? Yes, it's very kind of, I don't know.
I wonder how much it would cost to buy a Tesla robot.
I'm sure they don't know yet.
When all is said and done, right?
Mhm.
I mean,
Is
shoot,
it more than the car?
Yeah, like I mean,
no kidding.
how like how advanced is this robot going? And look, what is it designed? Is it designed for like commercial use specifically? Like this isn't like a robot butler for someone not like some rich asshole to buy. This is like specifically modeled at like companies looking to replace labor essentially, like worker droids.
Yeah, I mean, I do, like, he says dangerous, boring, and repetitive tasks, so I feel like
So, I mean,
they're
the cost can't
casting
be-
a wide net with that stuff, but...
How much?
Though I
What do you think-
I do owe the folks at Boston Dynamics a slight apology. Apparently, these robots are for sale for
Yeah,
the
for sale.
price
Yeah.
tag of $74,500.
Yeah, the four-legged one is pretty expensive. My mom
They've
really
been
likes
used in
watching those videos.
hospitals, agriculture, and by most recently an architecture firm.
Maybe that's your mom.
Sorry, Kyle, what were you saying?
No,
So I'm
Mom-
like,
Oh.
go ahead. Was it that guy?
Wait,
Yeah,
which
go ahead,
one?
you first.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No,
Uh,
I was just saying. I looked into some of the four-legged robot ones, and I was like, wow, that's expensive, but like kind of reasonable too.
I mean, it's all the software that goes into how
Exactly.
it
Yeah.
runs too. It's not just like building a robot. You have to make
Yeah.
it think somehow too.
Yeah. We.
I guess in my mind, like, so if I'm trying to sell this to commercial, am I expecting like a company to buy like one of these and have like one day, or is it like this is aimed at a company that might need like hundreds of these and like is
No.
employ them? Because like that affects your pricing a lot, right? Like
Mhm.
if you're expecting a company to need only a few of these because it's super expensive, but it can do complicated but dangerous tasks, that's one thing. Versus if you're saying like this can be put in like subhuman working conditions, but it can only do some simple things. But you can have like thousands of them because they're cheap, in a bulk price or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I guess it kind of depends. Like,
It doesn't tell me how many have been used this way, but apparently they stuck iPads on the front of a bunch of them and used them to screen people for COVID.
Is this the Boston Dynamic?
The dog.
Oh, yeah.
So you'd assume there's more than one of those going around.
Yeah. So I'm wondering. Well, I guess I'm wondering what path Tesla is going to take. Seems like to me, Boston Dynamic is they kind of got. I feel like their robots are more specialized.
This one herds sheep.
Yeah.
Specialized.
Herds sheep.
It herds sheep and collects agricultural data at the same time.
Very cool.
Jesus, I can't imagine being on like a farm and seeing a robot dog like herding sheep around.
Imagine the poor sheep. Like, what in the hell is this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't smell like anything, but it acts like a wolf still.
Yeah. They've evolved.
I wonder how. Yeah, I didn't think about like robotic applications in farming.
Yeah.
You don't. Yeah, I guess the entity that you're replacing doesn't have to be a human. Well, I mean, I guess like they were already using that in the military and stuff, like bomb sniffing. Replace bomb finding dogs with robots and stuff, but still,
they have been used in the bomb squad. I do know that.
Yeah, because that makes sense to me, right? Like if it messes up, well, okay.
Yeah.
$75,000 is not a great bill to be looking at, but I guess it's better than a person.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know how much follow-up we're going to get from the folks at Tesla about it, but...
I guess my opinion is that's a cool announcement, but I guess I would be very patient.
Yeah.
It's cool, but come back when you have something a little bit more serious for us to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Nice to see them always push the envelope, though. Never a dull moment.
Yeah, it might... just because they're not working on it, them announcing that they're going to work on it might spur someone else to in their development.
I guess only time will tell. But our last story of the night, shifting away from all things high-tech and robotics, involves KFC.
Ooh.
Now, we've talked at great length about labor shortages and the perks that companies are using to try to retain talent and all of this other stuff. So, the folks at KFC have decided to try something new. And I do want your take on this, good, bad, or indifferent. KFC and the KFC Foundation have unveiled a personal finance program for employees. Program is designed to help them build up short-term savings and foster a habit of saving money. Employees will be able to participate in savings match challenges funded by KFC and receive a $20 sign-up bonus.
Ooh.
So, I don't have all the details in front of me, but it sounds like they are going to match your savings to a certain point. Kind of like a retirement, but for not retirement. The biggest thing that's missing from this for me, though, is like there's a very easy solution to this problem, right? Pay them more money. Like, I get good for you for trying something new, but doesn't it seem like if I were to survey 1,000 KFC employees, how many of them would rather have this personal finance program, and how many of them would rather have a raise?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, I feel like there's always an issue between, like, telling me what to do or, like, trusting me that I'm going to do it. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's the big dynamic there is, like, it feels like I'm being told what to do as opposed to, like, allowing me to willingly do it myself, kind of.
Well, and like talk about equipping people to do something.
Yeah.
More money for somebody who's used to making what these employees are paid can equip you to do a hell of a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I understand what KFC's trying to do. Like, like I won't say that encouraging basic financial responsibility and literacy is a bad thing.
No, it's always good.
The problem is when they try to market it as some sort of like, as like a benefit that the employee receives, that they should, like, essentially KFC is saying we are offsetting bad pay by providing you with knowledge, and like, you know, that could be negotiated to a point, but like, I think the problem is that KFC doesn't understand the disparity in pay cannot be made up with something like this level. Like, you know, like if you aren't getting paid competitively by a little bit and your employer gives you a gift, like, you know, you might be very appreciative of that, and like, you understand, like, okay, like, you know, just because my employer can't pay me like the most that I could make, like, they care about me and they make effort otherwise. If the company is obviously screwing me on my pay and then gives me a present or whatever that is worth anything, and you know, like, at that point you're like, you're really screwing me on the pay. Like, couldn't I have just like, not that I don't appreciate the pen, but like, you know, like, couldn't the $50 fountain pen just been $50 that you would give me? Like, honestly, like,
well, I suppose to your point, right? If Wendy's and Burger King and Taco Bell and all these other places, if they're not offering that, then yes, in a crowded labor market, you've differentiated yourself.
It is added value. I just I just agree that, like, you know, to act like this is like some sort of big, you know, like some huge, like, you know, you shouldn't be like, wow, I should just be swimming in adoration.
Okay, sorry, I just found more details on the program, and it does get worse.
Oh, you have to like pay to attend or something?
No. By saving at least $10 a month, employees gain a $1 for $1 match from the company, up to $40 a month.
Oh, so my!
Over 6 months.
Holy shit! So it's
this
pointless.
enables KFC employees to create a $500 short-term emergency savings fund.
A year.
Which, to be fair, economic data says that the overwhelming majority of people do not have $500 laying around in case of emergency. So yes, that is helpful. But come on.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're going to do all of this shit so that you can help somebody save $500, or you can give them a raise that is going to make them way more than $500 extra.
Like, break it down, all right? $40 a month, right? So I worked 4 weeks at 40 hours a week. So you gave me a 25-cent an hour raise, essentially. That's the value of this emergency fund. You gave me a 25-cent. You gave me a 25-cent an hour raise, and I saved every penny of that, and I got $500 at the end. That's the equivalent.
The most impressive part of that whole thing is the fact that you were just able to do that out of thin air.
It just was.
Yeah, it's actually.
it's like, come on, man. Well, it's easy, right? Because it's $40 and you work a 40-hour.
True.
These people probably work longer than 40-hour weeks. See, like, probably. What person in food service do you know actually works a 40-hour week? They're scheduled to work, right? Like, it always goes over. There's people who stay. You have to clean. You have to close. You have to open. You know, like, you have to deal with shit. Like, it's never going to be a 40-hour week. So you are, like, I mean, like it's not nothing. Like, clearly it's not nothing. There is a value you can put on it. But like I said, I don't know, KFC, like, I don't know if you want to be like flexing over it is the only thing. Like, come on now. Like, I am all for encouraging responsible spending, you know. Like, that should be a program that more places should offer, maybe. But you could also just give them a raise. Yeah. And also encourage them to spend it responsibly. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the heart is there, but it seems like this is a very deliberate attempt to avoid doing what's actually far easier.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, what do I know? I just sit here an armchair quarterback. My degree in economics and human behavior has nothing to do with any of this. I don't know anything. But, jeez. Okay, so then I guess the logical follow-up question. Do other fast food companies follow suit with their own types of programs that are... I don't want to call them very silly, because...
Yeah, like they're not bad things. It's just they're not as good as I feel like.
They're not bad things, but they're not what people actually need to get out of some of these problems.
Yeah, like they're not. Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's like you're not telling them to pick themselves up by their bootstraps, but like you're almost saying the same thing still. I don't know, man. Like
the bootstraps comment would be far worse, but I don't think that this is
Yeah.
that far removed.
it's almost
from
like they're saying like you should be able to pick yourself up by your bootstraps, and to help you out, like I will like hold one of your bootstraps with my index
Yeah.
and thumb finger over
to help
here.
you pull yourself out of poverty. We're going to help you save $500 of your own money,
Yes, a year.
and then when something happens, you can take care of it. And
Yeah, I mean, like it's matched up to $40, but yeah, like I don't. It seems very strange to me. I don't know.
Don't take this the wrong way, but I feel like if a company like Wendy's offered their employees like free Frosties every shift, like that might be more popular.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it would be.
Again, not that financial literacy is bad. It's just
Well, I mean,
it seems
to take,
kind of tone deaf, is what it
take
seems.
the point
like.
of financial literacy. Like, all right, eating at Wendy's or wherever fast food place I work at is probably awful for me every day. But how much money do I save if they just give me a free meal? Like, like if I
More
eat
than
once,
$10 a week, I'll tell
if
you
I
that.
eat, yeah, if I eat once a day, like if I eat one big meal a day, right? That's my main meal, and then maybe I do like a light thing later at night. Like if I just eat the double cheeseburger at Wendy's every day, yeah, okay, it's not my heart probably gonna cost me long term, but you know, I'm saving $14 a day, you know, on
Yeah, I
food
mean,
for
if the
myself.
average like combo meal is between $10 and $14.
Yeah, like that's the whole week's worth of savings
Yeah,
in
that
one
is the
day.
KFC program in a day.
In 4 days of working, you made your month back. Like that's okay,
Oh, that's so bad.
and it probably costs them less to just give you the food for free. Like it's thrown away if it's excess anyway. Like,
Probably. Oh boy. So, if you could get a free meal every day from any fast food restaurant, where would you get it from?
it's a hard question. I feel like I'd get sick of it too fast. Yeah, that's the only problem with the logic, right? Is like
Yeah.
how many days in a row can you realistically eat Wendy's or McDonald's or Jack in the Box or even like Taco
Anything.
Time or whatever?
If it comes
before-
out of a drive-through, there is a very finite limit to the number of days in a row you can eat that.
Yeah, you can't even tell me that a Chick-fil-A employee will eat Chick-fil-A 5
No.
days a week. Like,
No way.
like I don't care how popular it is.
Like,
it doesn't
even the
work.
Super Size Me guy filming that whole damn movie got super tired of McDonald's. Like,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
even he was desperate enough to order, like, the Caesar salad at one point, because he's like, shit, I am just so tired of everything else.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be a hard one to pick.
The one that my mind goes to, it's not really fast food, but it's like kind of fast. It's like would you consider like Chipotle fast food?
It's fast
Okay.
enough. Yeah.
Okay, well, Cafe Rio,
Cafe
their
Rio.
barbacoa salad. Oh man, I love that stuff. It's so good.
That wouldn't be bad because you get some variety between like I could
Yeah.
get a burrito or a salad or a bowl or.
Yeah,
So, yeah, the problem with like committing to somewhere like McDonald's is like, well, that's a lot of burgers.
yeah,
Like, I could get breakfast occasionally. I could get chicken nuggets, but 70% of the time, I'm gonna have to eat a hamburger, and that's big ask.
Yeah. Yep. So I guess the universal conclusion on the KFC program is B+ for effort, but try again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I acknowledge that you did something, but I'm not sure if your employees really are feeling the generosity. You know, like
Try again, corporate America.
did KFC
Try
not
again.
raise their Were they not one of the companies that decided to raise their minimum wage? I know, like a lot of companies did announce that they were going to nationally impose some sort of minimum, usually between $10 and $15. But
Survey says, at least in the state of Washington, it looks like it's somewhere between $11 and $13.
okay,
So bare minimum, because remember, is it 2023 or 2024? The mandatory minimum in Washington is 15.
15. Yeah,
right.
not just Seattle. it's
For
everywhere.
everybody. again, it's a couple years off still, but
It should be pretty good.
they're pacing about as slowly as you're allowed to be at this point.
Yeah. We're just gonna let inflation get there.
Cannot even imagine. Alrighty, guys. Any closing thoughts? As fun as it is to lampoon KFC,
No, I didn't know.
don't
I did
wanna
not
give
know that
them
they were
any airtime that they're not due. Nothing. No impending moves this week. You guys are
Not this
stand
week.
pat and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm mostly just looking to see if cryptos or
Yep.
Bitcoin. What is it going to do now that it's is it above 50? It was above 50
It's
last
at
time I looked at it.
50,300 right now.
Yeah. So what is it going to do right now?
Just thinking about it.
Did it break it tonight? Tonight was the first time. Tonight it might do some weird stuff, to be honest. Or as like tomorrow morning.
I thought it.
Had it broached 50 before today.
I thought it might have.
I don't know. I mean, it's like right on that threshold, so maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. According to the week-long chart, I think it would have only been today.
Okay.
So, yes, some shenanigans might start this week. Hopefully, not a pitfall.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Hopefully not. To the moon, right?
Nice.
Yes, that would be nice.
Alrighty, guys. Fasten your seatbelts and I guess cross your fingers, and we'll see where it is next week when we all either sit down and celebrate or drown our sorrows together. But until then, good luck, and we'll see you next time.
Yep.
Yep,
Sounds
see you
good.
guys.
Thanks,